Hey everybody, it's Lex from PDQ.com. Normally we have a much better intro. Go ahead, Jordan.
Like I said, normally things are a lot different, and I'm not on camera and can pretend like I'm not there until you talk to me.
Hey guys, we are covering package and step level conditions today. This is so weird. I mean, sitting in a chair instead of standing up doing this. With that,
Get used to it. Get used to it. The new studio is going to have couches.
Is it really?
Wow. Oh yeah, you're gonna relax.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's a good thing. What if I fall asleep in the middle of my presentation?
Then you fall asleep in the middle of your presentation.
Yeah, good enough.
It'd just be a Lex quirk.
A Lex
It's
quirk.
endearing when you do it. Fireable for me.
Is that what it is? Well, now that you derailed my train, guys. So package and step level conditions. Let's just kind of run into this. I built this really cool super dirt test package. Let's just open this up and take a look. So ultimately, at the package level, you can do these at step level and the package level. Let's just do a quick run through on these. So first of all, you can decide whether the package is going to run on the OS, whatever OS version, right? So in the event, like sometimes, you need to do maintenance and stuff, and you're going to do a reboot, right? Anytime I do a reboot, I always make sure I uncheck the servers. Reason being is I like to reboot those by hand as opposed to, say accidentally rebooting those. Jordan, any other interesting thoughts on just the OS level type conditions?
I just really like it every time we see that Vista is still there. My
Is
recommendation
Vista still
is
supported?
I don't think it is. My recommendation if you're using Vista is to upgrade.
Ah, okay. Now, if you do check in our package libraries, again, if you were to, say, look at any of the Windows 10 updates, again, there's a couple different ways they are going to do that. This would definitely limit to a Windows 10 OS, and then obviously they're going to take it a few steps further. But anywho, so that is the OS version condition. Architecture version, Jordan, my favorite. I'm just kidding. You'll generally see this if you're running stuff against a 32 or 64-bit machine. I generally use this at a step level because a lot of times we're going to be, if you install 7-zip, you've got the 32-bit install and the 64-bit install. And this is where you would do that. You can do it at step level. We'll show you, but you could limit this package to run only at, that OS level.
Yeah, with some PowerShell, like if you're looking in specific folders, the folder structure can be different based on 32 to 64, so it's a good way to make sure that if you wrote the code specifically for one, it's only going to run against the ones it's going to work on.
Oh, excellent. Speaking of PowerShell, tell us about this one, man.
Yeah, any more defaults to 5.1 on Windows 10. If you have people not on Windows 10, I can't remember if 7 or Vista can take Windows 10 anymore. I haven't used it in so long, but my recommendation is to update everyone to the latest PowerShell you can. But codes and what works does change for PowerShell based on what's in there. So if you write something in PowerShell 3, there's no guarantee it's going to work in 5. If you can, obviously make it so it works for all of them. But if not, it's something where you can just limit to the machines that it's not going to fail on based on the commandlet not existing.
Yeah. So the takeaway from that is upgrade?
Upgrade.
To the upgrade, okay.
the later PowerShell is better.
Let's also, before we take a question, let's talk about the logged on state. So basically, you can limit this to run if a user's logged on or not logged on. And again, these are, it's a tool there for you to use. Personally, I always run stuff after hours. I just don't like phone calls. So it is there for you to use.
So the logged on comes in handy with things like Apex packages, although now with Apex you can do all users. If you're uninstalling, like if they're doing like Firefox that they install on their own and it's on their personal profile, having something that uninstalls that only runs if someone's logged on makes sense, because if they're not logged on, you might not be able to find it in there.
Very good point. Very good point. Okay. Well, let's. I think we've got a question about registry. A registry question, Kelly.
Yeah, let's see if we can find that. Okay. Hey guys, how can I scan the registry of computers looking for a specific value? I would like to populate a collection library with the results. Thanks, D. North.
All right. You'll notice right here there is a registry condition. We're going to go over that, but for what you want to do, you're going to want to actually do a registry scanner. You go into scan profiles and inventory, new. Let's just call this, I don't know, we'll call it reg, so we know it's a registry scanner. Server mode. We're going to look for server mode on PDQ. Okay, we're going to add a registry scan, and it just so happens, I am going to use this later, there is the key, there's the mode, so I'm going to copy this. We need the mode, and the mode is server. It is, from what I understand, case sensitive. So protocol, mode, and we'll just take any of the modes from there. Give that an OK, and then we'll just run a scan. I'm going to run it against just Guinness right now because Guinness does happen to have that on there. So right click and scan computer. We'll do our reg server mode, and it should return that information, and then from there you can build collections by looking in the registry table. All right, so there's our Guinness files, servers, registry, right there. Apparently I typed that wrong.
But if you had done it correctly, this would have been a wow moment.
Yeah, that's where you're going to do it. I swear I did this earlier. Anyhow, I guess I could troubleshoot that, but that's what I would do. Okay. Again, probably need to just grab that mode there. So anyway,
So
let's
you
just jump
can
up.
do registry on the step condition for a deployment, but that's not going to return data you could build a collection off of. It's just going to install or not install the package.
Well, let's just try it right now. So this dir, we're going to go and do if it exists. Okay. Again, here's that registry entry. Okay. We're going to go software inventory protocol, copy. And then we will paste the key in there. It is looking for the value for mode, and the value contains server. Fair enough. We'll save that, and we'll just kick that off against a couple of machines right quick and see if that works. So it's just going to do a dir, so we'll deploy that against the console here, the period, and then we'll say Bugs Bunny. And if I did that correctly, it should run. There we go. It's running on Guinness because it did find that, and it is not running due to registry conditions on Bugs Bunny. So that'd be your registry condition. Jordan, go ahead.
Well, it's just nice. It's filling that fast because it's not copying anything over, so it tests the condition first before it sends anything over. So it really can speed up packages where it's you're not sure if it's going to be able to install or not.
So at that level, it runs at runtime, right? It evaluates before it runs a package, which is kind of cool. We can do similar things with if a file exists or doesn't exist. Okay, so it just so happens that on the C drive of a handful of machines, I put a file called new machine.txt. Okay, we'll save that. And now, according to this, if where I came up with this idea is, you image machines, right? And when you image them, if you drop a text file somewhere where you can find it, obviously you can do a scanner and build a collection to run it against. And you can also do a file file condition here. So let's just go kick this off against, check it out. Oh, no, I didn't build the collection. Well, let's build one really quick. Computer, I do believe I ran files and directories. The name contains new machine.txt. See if we've got those out there. 20 machines. Okay, so it should run against a handful of those machines. So at this point, we will deploy this once, and we'll grab, I don't know, choose some targets from. We'll verify that this new collection here will grab these three. Should run against those three, and I don't know, Bugs Bunny, Castillo. Let's just say it runs against Crony. See if that works. Boom. So now it should run against. Apparently, Crony does have it. Interesting. Well, if a machine didn't have it, like, I guess I can go and find out the ones that don't have it. Easy enough, right? And then we'll run it against one of those. File, don't return me any of those. Boy, that's really quiet. Jordan, any thoughts?
Well, I'm sorry, I was just kind of following the chat where the text is hard to read. I'm wondering where if we can't zoom in and zoom out anymore, if we could just maximize the windows we have.
the
See
windows?
if we get,
Okay.
I don't think that's going to change the size of the text.
Oh,
so,
yeah, so it's the text that's the issue.
yeah. So maybe if you have, I don't know if you have some sort of accessory or accessibility utility for the for the hard of seeing.
Does that make it any better?
No, like I said, the text is
okay.
going to be the same exact
Yeah.
size.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
wrong on that one.
But Jordan, you'll be happy you're no longer on screen.
That is my hope. All right,
It's the
yeah,
plan
so
all along.
I guess removing us from it just said did make it better. This is just something I guess we're going to have to work on before the next webcast.
I'll tell you, it makes it better because they don't have to look at us. Maybe
It's
not the
true.
text. But anywho, it did fail on Elmer Fudd because the file didn't exist. So that's your file conditions. Let's take another question.
All right.
got
This is kind of a two-parter. Can a package level condition be set so that it doesn't trigger a fail if the condition is not met? Instead of two schedules, one for my AD computers with a pull package and another for my non-AD computers with a push, I would like to have one schedule with two conditional packages. Josh C.
All right, so what I'm going to do for this, we're going to just duplicate this, and we'll call this package the AD package, right? This one's going to run against the AD, and AD gets the push, right? So here, we're going to go to options, and we're going to go to the copy mode and do a, pull, not a push for the AD, right? Save that. And then we will go to the non-AD package here, and we'll go to conditions and say that's the default's push here, so we can force it with a push. Okay. Now the other thing you don't want to do is this under conditions. Only run this if it is not a member of, and we're going to go look at the PDQ, if it's not a member of AD in this case. Now if you got multiple domains, you may have to do some more work with that, and again probably should do on the AD one so that it only runs against those. It is a member of, and we'll go grab the AD. And now that you have that, tag both these bad boys here, your schedule with them. There's your one schedule that's going to run the two different packages and only run against AD ones against AD and the non-AD against non-AD. Hopefully that takes care of that one for you, man. Any comments on that, Jordan?
Well, just for that one, it's not so much you're going to have a separate condition that says if this fails but continue anyway. It's more of you just need to put the opposites in on your filter for each one.
Yeah, this is how it just would run on what it needs to run on, not necessarily, triggers and that. So, excellent. Do we want to do another question, or should we keep moving on?
Yeah, I can give you one.
Okay.
Hey guys, I am installing Google Drive on stations with PDQ Deploy. I'm having some stations come up with very large debug log files. Any reason why that might happen? Curtis J.
All right, I'm not sure about why Google Drive installs would be giving you huge logs. I can tell you a place to look to see what kind of log. If you look under logging, options, preferences, depending on what you have tagged here will depend on a lot of the data you're getting back. Now, for the Google Drive itself producing a big log file, Jordan, any thoughts?
Without knowing how the install works, they probably have documentation on how to make it less verbose, but if it's not happening under each one, is there a specific issue? I'd have to be able to look into the actual install to see it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's jump back to our SuperDir package here. All right. You guys did happen to see that we were using collections here. So the nice thing about this, let's say you wanted to make sure that a package did or did not get installed. Let's say did not get installed because we've got machines here that none shall update. Okay, so what you can do is, let's say this is your Java update, or you want to keep a legacy version of, I don't know, Firefox or Chrome. You come into the package and just say, okay, this package is okay to update on anything that is not a member of, and in this case, I would go grab my none shall update static collection in this case. So that's a way to do that. Jordan, thoughts on this at the package level?
Not really. I guess the only major difference is the package level is a way to make it if you have like a lot of things installing from a single package to make sure that they all don't hit the same behavior. You can put a little bit of customization in there.
Okay. Now let me show you another way you can do this. I'm going to build a new package, and we'll talk about step level conditions because they're basically the same. We're going to do what I like to call the make a match, right? Make a matchup or a baseline of sorts, right? We'll call this make a match. All right. So let's say everybody, all the machines over a year, you install some here, you install some there. You want to make sure everybody has the same, 7-zip and Chrome and Firefox in this case, right? I could do more, but this will take forever. Okay. What you can do, if you go in here, you can go, okay, go ahead and install 7-zip, or let's say you needed to get everybody on 7-zip, only install it on, and again, you can do any of these, is a member of, and I'm going to say in this case, let's make sure everybody has 7-zip. So we'll go up and go to the collection library, utilities, 7-zip not installed. So if they already have 7-zip, it's good to go, right? Same thing with Chrome, right? When you go to this condition, now this one, we're doing this one specific because this one's already got a package condition on it. This one is only supposed to run on a collection named valid. Now we did a video or a webcast a little while ago on validating machines, right? So we're going to override the nested package conditions, okay? And we're going to say this only runs on a member of, missing Chrome in this case. Now, yeah, you can do the same thing with Firefox, but you guys get the idea, right? Now, here's the interesting thing, right? We can then take this and say this is make a match, and we only want to run this on accounting machines, right? So you'll notice right here I've got accounting, super spy, none, bunch of these. So at this point, I can now, when I find where I did it with it, I can say only run this. This is a accounting only update. Okay, so we're going to use both sets. So again, we got has to be an accounting, and then doesn't have 7-zip and doesn't have Google. And now all the machines in accounting, if you had all the software in there, should make make all the machines match, make a match, right? Jordan, thoughts on this?
Just one thing to make note of, the department field that we're using on that one isn't something that we find by default. That's a custom field that we built. So if you're in there looking for a department to duplicate it and it's not there, it's something that we customized ourselves.
Yeah. So hopefully that just kind of sparks some ideas. Other things you can do at the step level, right, is let's say these were prerequisites. Again, you need to have .NET whatever before you can install, Crystal Reports before you can have QuickBooks. You can make a smart package that's going to take care of all of your prerequisites. So, all right. Any other thoughts, Jordan, or should we start taking some questions?
I think we've got quite a few questions. Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
All right. Hey, guys, is there a way to deploy a package to a device that is not on the domain? Can I set up local user credentials and push to an IP? Russell K.
Hey, Russell, let me make sure that I can actually run this. I haven't put any conditions on this. And I'll show you how to do that. All right. So, again, deploy. You need to have your, deploy once. You need to have your local credentials set up, right? So right here, I don't happen to have any local credentials, but you'd select your local admin credentials, and then you'd pop in IP, right? Add the computer, hit deploy now, and it would connect, use your local admin credentials, and run that deployment. So it did a dir on that machine at this point. So hopefully that takes care of that. But again, your credentials, you'd set those up, options, credentials, then you could add credentials there.
There's also in inventory, like if you have laps set up for those local credentials, you can put laps in inventory and then do a network scan, which will look at not just AD machines, but all by IP, and then have the scan set to the laps credentials. And that way, if you check the box on the deploy to use inventory credentials, it should work by default without having to set it every time.
That is, I love that. And that setting is right there. Thanks, Jordan. What else we got?
This one's interesting. Hey guys, devices are still showing in-app installed collection after uninstalling. MSI exe.exe nerd blah blah reboot device confirm app is no longer installed. Run app scan in inventory, and there's a little more nerd filters nerd blah blah. Thanks, Ray.
Now, I think we pull that information from the registry, don't we, Jordan?
I believe so, yeah.
So if it's not removing that from the registry, it is removing the program, but it's not cleaning out the registry, it would still show as that app installed, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the best way I can think to test that is to, on the machine that is still showing up even though it's not installed, is to build a registry scan that's looking at that location and scan the machines and see if those are still coming back as having a result.
There you go. Yeah, I do, again, yeah, look for that executable or whatever it is that kicks that off with a file scanner. Nice. Got another question?
Sure, why not? Gentlemen, more of a request than a question. Can we get options to tweak the pending reboot notification? Perhaps turn on, off file renames, for example. And that comes from Doug K.
Boy. Jordan, I guess, can you make the request? Sure. I'm trying to think how you do that. Any thoughts, Jordan?
It looks in 4 or 5 different locations that we don't have control. It's the back end of the product. I can't think of a way to do that. So I guess maybe you could build a collection of, no, because there's no time date of when the needs reboot pops up, so you couldn't even put a time span in that.
That's a tough one. I know we can look at I know the registry, where to look in the registry for it, but that's, yeah, I don't know. Gonna have to punt on that one. Not sure.
Yeah. But on the previous question, Colby pointed out in chat that his query is also using contains, which means it might be finding a like application instead of just the equals. That's just another alternative in case it's not an artifact.
There you go.
All right, we got a couple more.
Cool.
Is there a way to set a condition on time of day, day of month? Looking to prevent the accidental deploy of a package outside of our maintenance window. Thanks, Patrick.
Okay, schedules. Triggers. Let's say weekly. We'll go Saturday. Starting April 29th, ending. I'm trying to think, is there a way to do that, Jordan? Where we've got is it under options? I swear there's a spot in here we can do only run between these times.
I thought I remember something like that, but I'm not thinking of what it is. I'm hoping.
Yeah, hopefully someone can pop that up in the chat, because I know it's
Colby's
possible.
already in there. There's a blog for new releases for PDQ deploy and PDQ inventory, time frames for heartbeat and interval triggers.
Oh, okay. Interval triggers.
So it looks like
Just
if we
looking in the
hit
wrong
that
spot
blog.
there. So interval triggers. Whoops, start and stop. There we go. Once a day, once every 2 days, once a week. There you go. Running between these times. Thanks, Colby.
Yeah, we knew it existed, so thanks, Colby.
I knew it could do it. Just forgot where. What else we got?
I've got one last question, unless you guys have anything else you want to dive into.
Boy. Let me dive into one other thing really quick, and then we'll have that last question. A lot of times, some of the interesting things that we have found is when you build the collections here, obviously the more in-depth your collection, the more logic you can apply to it. So you could say something to the effect like this and apply it, right? So let's say a computer needs to be part of the accounting department, right? So we'll come down and, collection. We'll go to collection here. is a member of, again, we'll say accounting, or we'll say super spy in this case, okay? And we'll also say the collection is not a member. Again, the more in depth and the more logic you can add here, none shall update. So in this case, it can be a super spy and it can't be updated. And now I've got a collection for super spy that, you don't have to. Again, the more you can put in this single collection, you can reference it in one place at the package, the step level. And that's my preferred method. Jordan, do you have a preferred method for your conditions?
Not necessarily preferred. I just know this kind of goes into the simplicity that we were talking about in the pre-show, where if you have a whole bunch of machines and you're sending out every time, you have as many, only so many active deployments you can have going on at the same time. So if you have logic in limiting what it's going into, you can get through that quicker and you have less, resources being taken up and you can get your machines updated faster. So it's just put in the work early, make sure you're hitting everything that you need, and then just make everything easier in the future.
Excellent. Well, let's take that last question, Kelly, unless there's more questions that have popped.
All right, final question. For PDQ deploy Windows update packages, are Windows 2008 R2 servers that do not have the extended security update purchase/enabled still listed correctly within PDQ inventory cumulative update, latest and old, accurately in PDQ inventory collections? That was a mouthful, by the way. Thanks, Keith K.
Okay, so I know if Microsoft doesn't support it, we kind of follow their support. So does it display correctly here? That's a good question. That's current KB out there, 513.83. I think that is.
So the collections are just going to go based on whatever the last KB from Microsoft was. If there's something where it's not getting the updates because it's out of extended service, we don't have a way to account for that. It's just basically if they have the latest KB, then it will show up in the latest.
There you go.
And we actually do have one more question that came in, if you guys would like that.
Yeah.
Can auto package updates, for example, the recent Firefox update 88, update a variable in inventory to reflect the latest version rather than having to manually update these? Thank you. Craig.
If you go to the collection library, internet browsers, Firefox, just say 64-bit. Let's go look at latest and old. There is version 88 right there. So if you do use this, if you've purchased inventory, this comes with it. So I would look in the collection library under internet browsers. And again, if you've got your auto update set, again, that's set here in preferences, auto download, Mine's set to 7 days just because I'm too lazy to change it. Actually, that works really well. Jordan, did I misread that or misunderstand that question? Because I think, that collection automatically updates here because we manage it for them.
Yeah, so if you're specifically talking about ones that are auto update within our collection, those are in our package library, those should update automatically in our collection. If it's one where he built it himself, there is a way to use PowerShell to kind of automate the process of updating everything. We have a couple of webcasts on that, on how you can get everything set up.
Yeah. You would look under automating packages that aren't in our package library. But again, if it's in our package library, let us do the work for you. It's much easier for you. Yeah.
All right. I think it would be about this time we would tell you to go to camera 2.
Camera 2.
Camera 2.
Hey, everybody. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully, we've at least shown how to use some of these options for you. Maybe spark some ideas on different ways that you can use that. Thanks for watching. I'm Lex.
I'm Jordan with PDQ.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a part of our webcast today. If you had questions that we were not able to get to today, feel free to reach out to our support forums. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.